Yo, I finally figured out how to schedule a stream on Streamlabs, not StreamYard.
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure.
so
Then.
it's literally you make it on YouTube, and then when you go to the go live button in the app, it's already there if you already link your account. It's just like you could select it and go live.
All right. Oh yeah, you have to show me that afterwards. But we just we just went live right now, so waiting for somebody to come in. It says right now excellent connection, which is great to hear.
Oh,
It's a
Sports
rarity.
Expert is in the chat. What is up, Sports Expert? How you doing, man?
What's going on, sports expert? Appreciate you joining in the stream. Welcome back in, guys, to another edition of the Young Guns podcast. And I tell you more, every week we do this podcast. I kind of like the name more and more. The Young Guns podcast. It actually sounds pretty cool, man. But Hub Kush is the I don't know how you say guest on the channel. He's a friend of the channel. We do this podcast together. We alternate every single week. This week happens to be on my channel. Say what's up, Kush.
What is up, yo? What's up, everybody? We got Harrison Jolly tuning in. Thank you guys for tuning in. As Kid Blue said, I don't even know if I'm a guest at this point. I'm just a friend, an affiliate of the channel, man, a co-sponsor. All right, I'm kidding. I'm not no co-sponsor. But yeah, we've been doing it for a while now, and I am also liking the name more and more as it comes up. You know what I'm saying? We're getting it established. It is now known, I'm
Oh
pretty
yeah.
sure, as one of the Giants podcasts out there. If it's not, listen, chat, you guys need to spread the word, man.
For sure, for sure. But guys, thank you guys so much for joining in. As always, if you guys don't know who the Hub is, and if you guys should know who he is, if you're tuning in every week, if you guys don't know Kush, make sure you guys click the link in the description. His channel is in the description. Make sure you guys subscribe to the Hub. Puts out great content, man. And yeah, and quickly, I want to give a quick shameless plug to my positional preview series, guys. If you guys haven't checked that out, make sure you guys check it out when you can. I'm gonna be posting every single day another position for the New York Giants. Try to burn some time until football season starts, if we even get a football season, and that seems more and more like a
Maybe,
question mark. You know what's
maybe,
crazy?
yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, they were saying how, oh, football isn't like a definite now. It's gonna happen now. We're hearing like alternate opinions. Everybody's saying that it could happen, it might not happen. Like it worries me. It really does worry me.
The thing is, right, and I agree with you, it's really kind of a week by week basis, almost day by day basis thing to see if
Hmm.
the season's actually gonna happen. And it's exactly like what you said. A couple weeks ago, it seemed like a definite. When they released the date for training camps, I think that was like 2 weeks ago,
Right.
they were like, all right, bro, training camps is gonna start now. Everybody was like, okay, so that means the season is probably gonna start at most like a week later or something, or maybe even on time.
Hmm.
Now it's like, oh my God, and this started, I completely blame this on the cancellation of the Hall of Fame game. It kind of put
Yeah.
like almost everybody in a little bit of a panic, but there's good reason for that panic almost. That sounds weird to say, but there's good reason for it.
Hmm.
I mean, you don't just cancel that unless you're gonna push back some things. Obviously they delayed it to the next years and whatnot, but it is seeming more and more likely like either there's gonna be a delay to the season or there's gonna be a major change with how it's played. I know they already announced that like the front row seats are not gonna have any people in them. They're gonna put like banners of the sponsors up there to
Mm.
make up for that money also. So I don't know. It's definitely a day by day thing. And I mean honestly, I don't know if I've said this on the podcast yet. I've probably said it somewhere else, but in my opinion, even though I hate to say it as a football fan, the season really should not happen because it's just too much of a risk of the virus spreading. If it does, they need to just not have any audience in there, which is going to affect the game a lot. You talk about home field advantage and whatnot.
Yeah, for sure, and absolutely right. Especially the team that we root for, the New York Giants. They are in the midst of it. Especially where you live there in New York. Where exactly are you at? Exactly what borough are you in?
I'm in Queens.
You're in Queens, so yeah, it's bad over there in those five boroughs, man. As far as the COVID-19 goes, so I can
Hmm.
imagine, things might not start around as fast as we think it is, and it probably shouldn't even happen. It probably shouldn't even happen, and that's in my heart of hearts. That's what I honestly think, but it scares me, man. I want to see the football season happen, man, but who knows if we'll get it. We're getting this football news now, like Cam Newton goes to the Patriots. We might not even see Cam Newton with the Patriots, or might not even see Daniel
Ooh,
Jones again until 2021, man.
bro,
Oh,
I'm telling you, when I saw Cam to the Patriots, so first of all, I found out in like the weirdest way possible. I was chilling. I was playing 2K, not the NBA 2K. I'm a big WWE fan, so I was playing the WWE's 2K. Not as good as NBA 2K because they do not put as much resources that side. But that's enough about that. I was really playing that, and I was just like, let me check my phone. Just randomly, I got the weird sensation to check my phone, and I go on Twitter,
Hmm.
and it's like blasted all over Twitter. I'm like, huh, came to the Patriots. Well, I can't say I didn't see it coming because you remember
Yeah.
last stream we had. I was like, if there's any team I want Cam to go to, it would be the Patriots. I just didn't expect it. I didn't actually believe it would happen. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know why. As much as I want him to go there, I just did not believe it would happen. And it's very weird coming to terms with it. Cam went to the dark side.
I honestly, and I was how I found about it. I was on Instagram, and once I opened up Instagram, it kind of pops up any type of post, and it was the NFL memes. NFL memes posted Cam Newton going to the Patriots, and I thought it was a meme. I'm like, okay, that's oddly weird. I don't know how that's relevant to NFL news now. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and I keep scrolling down, and then I see the NFL post Cam Newton going to the Patriots, and oh my God, Cam Newton is going to the Patriots, and it's so crazy to think about. I would never like. Me and you have both discussed it last week. We're like, okay, we want to see Cam Newton on the Patriots, and
Yeah.
that was that was my first guess too. I kind of scurried away from that once he's been on the market for too long, but. I mean, we kind of thought about Cam Newton and the Patriots a lot, but it just seems weird looking at him in a Patriots uniform. I don't know if it's because of Tom Brady, how long he's been in the Patriots uniform, but if it's gonna look so weird with Cam Newton in a Patriots uniform, man.
The only uniform that's gonna look good on him is the navy ones, I think. I don't know why, because it's the closest thing to the black Carolina uniforms.
Right.
I don't think the white Patriot uniforms are gonna look that good. I don't know. The only uniform I could see looking good on him that I could be comfortable seeing him in is the navy ones. I don't know why. That's just the way I feel about it. And bro, I gotta tell you, part of me laughed when I saw the news because it's literally in the past 20 years, there's only 3 months where the Jets and the Bills could argue who had the best quarterback in the
Yeah, yeah,
AFC.
I
Just 3 months
know.
in the past 20 years, bro. That conversation is now potentially over.
And honestly, the conversation of who's gonna win the AFC East is probably over now. I still like the Bills. I don't have any hope in the Jets. I still like the Bills, but I don't think they're gonna win the division now with Cam Newton in New England. Now New England have lost some pieces there. It's on the offensive and defensive side of the ball, but I don't think it's gonna matter. I think Cam is good enough to help that team, especially with the coaching over there. I don't think you need much going on as far as player personnel goes in New England for you to be something to make the playoffs because they just have a natural winning culture over there. But what's going on, Delano? Salute to you, my friend. Welcome into the stream, buddy.
How you doing,
Hope
Delano?
you're doing okay, man. Edward Chan is in the chat. He says, "How do you guys feel about Jadeveon Clowney wanting to be a Cowboy?" Now, I didn't hear about this.
Before we get into that, there's
Right,
actually a bit more context to that. I think
right.
I think I know what Edward's talking about. But I guess if do you want to move into that now or continue with the Cam thing?
Oh, we can go into whatever. It doesn't matter. I read the comment.
I bet. So with the Cam thing, right? And you bring up a good point saying that the Patriots they lost pieces on both the offensive and defensive side of
Mm-hmm.
football. And I was actually on Fitz Vegas's video when he was talking about how the Patriots are going to be better than the Bucks this year. Obviously, the connection there, we all know the connection.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, listen, I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you, but I pointed out the same thing. They did lose a couple of pieces, but then Fitz did reply with a pretty good comment himself. He was like, that's true, but these players are players that only have succeeded with the Patriots because that's what the Patriots do. They pick up players that are not that successful in other
Right.
places, and when they leave and they go, like to the Dolphins or something, they're nothing like what they were with the Pats. So maybe the Patriots still maintain, that top five defense they had last year, and
Right.
things work out for Cam, which honestly it's weird, but that's probably more realistic than them just falling apart.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I still think the Patriots are gonna win it now. It was a question before, but now I'm back on the Patriots winning the AFC East, man.
I
But
it, I can't say that yet, but the Bills are still contenders. I agree with Delano. He says
yeah,
the Bills are a strong team and they're still contenders. I
yeah,
think
for sure.
honestly, I think honestly the Patriots are gonna go either 9 or 10 wins this year, and because
Oh
I
yeah,
do think the Bills might take that division.
9 or 10 wins is fine. My only thing is that I love the move that the Bills made with getting Stephon Diggs, right? I just don't know if Josh Allen could capitalize off of that. I'm not a big Josh Allen fan at all. Okay, I watched him out of Wyoming. Wasn't a big fan of him. He definitely progressed since his college days. I will give him that. He's definitely a better quarterback than I thought he was coming. That I thought he would be coming out the gate. I just don't believe the Josh Allen hype. I just think he still makes stupid mistakes. We've seen that in the playoffs. The year last year, I believe it was against the Texans, in which he just tried to lateral the ball back, hoping
That
somebody can
playoff
make a
game
play.
was hard to watch. Talking about from Josh Allen's standpoint, bro.
Exactly, and that's the type of things that you see from Josh Allen for the most part, and I don't know. I really see him being like a Tim Tebow type guy, right? Just a guy that,
Ooh, I don't know if I'll put it that far.
Yeah, an athlete. Well, he could throw the ball a lot better than Tim Tebow. I'll give you that, and he has a huge arm, but his accuracy is not all there. He has better accuracy on the run than he does in the pocket, which is probably the weirdest thing I've ever seen in a quarterback.
Yeah, he's best when he's throwing under pressure. And
weird. He has a freaking laser on the run, man. But when he's in the pocket, it's like it goes everywhere. But he's definitely a better passer than Tim Tebow was, but I see him as a guy that just tucks in and runs a lot. Sort of like Cam Newton. He's like a white Cam Newton, in my honest opinion.
But Cam is way better at passing.
Oh yeah, Cam way better. That's the thing. See, you don't know what to really call Josh Allen. He's hard to really figure out. So I'm not a big fan of Josh Allen. I'm a big fan of that team they have around him. But I don't think Josh Allen could get him to the promised land. Similar to what you saw from Blake Bortles a couple years ago in 2017, where they had a fantastic team around him. He couldn't get them over the hump.
It's interesting when you brought up the fact that he's better on the run than he is in the pocket. And by the way, shout out to Kevin Cronin and Bavit. What in the world were you watching on my channel at this hour?
Hey, everybody, it's Bavith, okay, guys?
Bavith?
It's Bavith. Yeah, he
okay,
always
bet.
he told us that in the beginning, and I got you, Bavith. I got you, man. But he said,
Bavith, heard.
He said got off the hub and came here to watch the hub.
Oh, I now know what you mean, bro. It took me a second to realize. Yo, by the way, from the last stream, nobody sent me any links. I'm disappointed. Do you remember what we talked about at the end of the last stream, Kid Blue?
Oh, my
nobody
God.
sent me any type of research, bro. I was very disappointed. But going back to the laser that Allen has when on the run, and Edward Chan says Sam Darnold, Josh Allen. This is related to that.
Yeah.
I think just like Sam Darnold, Josh Allen just has too many problems with his footwork to be a good quarterback.
Right.
And I'm not a fan of Sam Darnold either. I'm a little bit more of a believer in Allen than Darnold, but both of them, their footwork is so bad that it amazes me the fact that they're starting QBs in the league with the footwork like that. Maybe they can improve upon it, but for both of them, man, it's going to take a long way.
And when it comes to the question of Sam Darnold or Josh Allen, I'm actually going to take Sam Darnold, not by a huge sort of margin, but a slight edge to Sam Darnold. Now, I like Sam Darnold. I hate USC players as a whole. I think they never work out. USC just doesn't make NFL players. It is what it is. But Sam Darnold seems to be one of the better ones to come out in a while, and I think he is their franchise quarterback. I think Josh Allen is the Buffalo Bills franchise quarterback as well. So don't get me wrong on that. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to Sam Darnold, the guy is always under pressure, similar to what we saw from Eli Manning in his last years. Sam Darnold was constantly under pressure. Like, sometimes he would just snap the ball, and there'll be four guys in the backfield. So I understand that standpoint. Yes, he doesn't have the best footwork. He doesn't have the best instincts as well. But when Sam Darnold is playing well, he is playing well. He's held up. His first week in the NFL, he dominated the Detroit Lions like 42-7, something like that. And he's held in there tough with the Green Bay Packers. With the Arizona against the Green Bay Packers, I believe in his rookie year. But he's held tough in a couple of games this year that makes me look at Sam Darnold and say, hey, what if you give him a better offensive line? What if you give him some more weapons? Because you look over there in New York, on the other side of New York, they have no wide receiver weapons. They had no wide receiving weapons at all besides Robbie Anderson. And Le'Veon Bell isn't obviously what he was because of the offensive line.
I was literally thinking about it today, bro. The Jets, and by the way, shout out to Sean Alexander Jermaine Werner. That's a name right there. He says, yo, KB and the Hub, y'all my favorite YouTubers. Thank you, bro. You're my favorite supporter. I'm kidding. All of you are. But
appreciate it, Sean. Thanks.
It's funny you say that because I was thinking about it today. The Jets are literally, and this used to be a joke, but it's just a fact now. The Jets are literally a lesser version of the Giants. You got a lesser version of Daniel Jones and Sam Darnold, a lesser version of Saquon Barkley and Le'Veon Bell, a lesser version of our offensive line, bro, a lesser version of our defensive line. Nobody wants to hear this, and nobody's thinking about this, but hot take, Dexter Lawrence is better than the third overall pick, Quinnen Williams. A lesser version of Dexter Lawrence and Quinnen Williams, bro. The Jets are literally a lesser version of the Giants, and it used to be a joke until it's not anymore.
Hold on. One thing that caught my attention real quick, Hub. You just blew my mind, dude. Because, yeah, you just blew my mind, my God. All right, so in that 2018 draft, when I tell you I was in love with Quinnen Williams, I was in love with Quinnen Williams.
That was 2019, I think.
2019, I'm sorry.
Or was it 2018?
No, 2019. You're right. 2019.
Okay.
Yeah. 2018 was Saquon's draft. 2019, Daniel Jones, Dexter Lawrence, Quinnen Williams. Quinnen Williams was one of my favorite guys to watch, along with like Jonathan Allen, who are very similar players back in the years that they were drafted.
One of my favorites was Ed Oliver that year.
Yeah, Ed Oliver as well out of Houston. But Quinnen Williams really caught my attention. The guy was a monster. And you are absolutely right. Dexter Lawrence had a better season than Quinnen Williams, and I would be willing to say, I didn't even think of this, man. Dexter Lawrence is better than Quinnen
Jets
Williams.
Fans, I'm telling you, bro. Jets
we
fans
got
don't
Dexter Lawrence with the 17th overall pick, and we were all pissed about it. We were all pissed about it.
Not me.
Well, I was upset because I wanted Jerry Tillery.
I'll tell you right now, Kid Blue, the only reason I saved face that night and I was like, people need to chill on Dexter Lawrence is because out of all the defensive linemen that actually caught my attention, he was the only one that I looked at tape for. And he did so many good things at Clemson. And
really?
he was really good at Clemson.
I watched him, but I kept noticing guys like Cleveland Farrell. I kept noticing guys like who was the guy that got drafted to Miami? The other defensive tackle.
There was Jerry Tillery. There was that dude out of Notre Dame.
No, he was also out of Clemson. He was another defensive tackle. He went higher.
Christian Wilkins.
Christian Wilkins. There we go. I noticed Christian Wilkins a lot more than Dexter Lawrence. Not because Dexter Lawrence was worse, but Dexter Lawrence has a different skill set that really doesn't show up in the highlights or the film sometimes. Sometimes he would, run into an offensive lineman and, have a responsibility in stopping the run. And, that really goes by our heads because we want to see highlights and stuff like that. So
exactly.
I always noticed Christian Wilkins.
The one thing I did notice is that he seemed like a better pass rushing defensive tackle than run stuffing one because Dexter Lawrence, don't quote me on this, he had one of the highest amounts of batted passes in college football the year he came out.
And he had batted passes in the NFL as well. I don't know what the exact number is, but he was batting down passes, and he picked up right where he left off.
Exactly. So that combined with the fact that I think he's also 2 years younger than Wilkins, I was very happy when we took Lawrence. And now, just like you said, bro, nobody wants to admit it, but Dexter Lawrence is better than Quinnen Williams, who was, touted as the best defensive tackle. I don't
think anybody's really not trying to admit it. I don't think anybody's even thinking about it. I don't think anybody has thought about that. Like I haven't thought about that, man. I'm so happy that you said that because I was in love with Quinnen Williams, and I'm like, man, we need a guy in the interior. And of course I know about Dexter Lawrence, but we came out with a better draft pick because not only do you think about production, because Dexter Lawrence provided in the production department against Quinnen Williams, you also think about value. Quinnen Williams went with like the 3rd overall pick. And Dexter Lawrence went in the 17th overall pick. You think about the value there, I mean, I'd take that all day. Even if Dexter Lawrence was slightly lesser than Quinnen Williams, which he's obviously better now, but slightly lesser than Quinnen Williams, I would still love the value over that. Borden Arrow says, and Lawrence isn't in illegal trouble like Quinnen Williams. Yeah, I heard Quinnen Williams.
I completely forgot about that too.
Yeah, and I think it's, what was it about? Because I can't believe it. Quinnen Williams is such a nice-hearted guy, man. There's no way I would think Quinnen Williams would do that. I follow him on Instagram for crying out loud.
Follow him on Instagram?
Yeah.
Shout out to Bobbit. He said, my son went to Brooklyn Tech. You know this dude is smart. Yeah, it says it right there. Thank you, bro. And somebody said I should be an offensive lineman. Wolves? Listen, bro, Wolves. I was actually a tight end / running back at Tech.
Oh, so snap. Like an H-back, man.
Yeah, bro.
Oh, snap.
I cannot play that anymore, though. I probably am more of an offensive lineman now.
Swiss Army knife. Swiss Army knife of the offense. Big Blue Wrecking Crew in the building. What's going on, man?
And Nations. I haven't seen Nations in here in a minute.
Nations, what's going on, buddy? He said, you know nothing about football. You bum. You know, someone I haven't seen in a while, Joe Lutz. He used to be always in my streams, but I haven't seen him in a long time. We miss you, Joe.
Exactly.
We miss you, Joe. KB, you're trash
So,
at Madden. Oh, hey, by the way, Hub, I know we got this thing going on with the Madden
oh yeah,
tournament
somebody
soon.
asked me when in July, because I remember we told them July, but we don't have an exact date set yet.
Exactly, yeah. We got all of July to decide, so we're all right. But as far as I go, guys, I'm going to be doing a Madden stream one of these days. I want to try to do it this week. Hub, I will not be facing you because you are the main event. So I
Okay,
don't,
bet.
yeah, I don't want to face you in that Madden stream because then people won't tune into the main event. So, because they already got a glimpse of it. So, I'm gonna be playing you guys. I'm gonna be playing random. If not enough people are coming in, I know some of you guys got PS4.
Yeah.
So
Bro, I'm
yeah,
gonna
I'll
tell you right
definitely
now, that's the hardest thing. I tried one stream to play the subs,
right.
and the hardest thing was that they had PlayStation, bro. I was like,
Yeah,
oh my God.
yeah.
There was only like two of them that had Xbox.
Right. And so you got, and I'll be giving you some film, man. I'm giving you some film to watch over, look over, see what my tendencies are. But you know, I may put up some poker face type plays, man. May tell
Maybe.
you one thing is my scheme and it's not. Who knows? But well, back on track here. Yeah, Dexter Lawrence
We
and
can
Quinn Williams.
continue with the Dexter Lawrence thing. The
Mm-hmm.
thing is that is he legitimately the best defensive tackle to come out of that class?
Yes,
The best
because
inside defensive lineman?
listen, I hate PFF, but they know trenches. They know the offensive line and defensive line. I do trust them in that because they usually are right. They had Andrew Thomas as the highest graded offensive tackle coming out of this year's draft, so I do take their word when it comes to the trenches, anything from the offense to defensive lines, and they rated Dexter Lawrence as the best defensive tackle in that draft, and statistically,
Exactly.
he was the best as well. What did Jerry
I think
Tillery do? I haven't even heard of Jerry Tillery.
Exactly.
You know,
Lawrence was up there as just the best defensive rookie, period.
exactly. He was like eighth. I think he was rated eighth best. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. I think eighth,
I
eighth
would
best on the
think that's
defense.
right, man.
I think eighth best on the defense, something like that. But
That's why he's legitimately one of my selections for breakout defensive player next year.
mhm.
I did a video on that, and the thing is, I was thinking to myself, because I thought about it before, I was like, wait a minute, can he really break out? He had a pretty damn good late year last year. But then I looked into it. He only played 65% of defensive snaps as a starter. I expect that to go up to like the 70s, maybe the 80s next year. I don't expect
Hopefully,
him to be on it, 100% of the time. I don't think any defensive lineman is going to be out there 100% of the time, but he's going to be a lot more than 65, and I just expect more production from him.
hopefully, yeah, he gets more playing time. Being that he kind of showed the Giants that he is more than just a run stuffer. You know, he bats down passes, he rushes the passer, he gets a good pressure rate. He had 2.5 sacks last year. He slowed down towards the end of the year. He had those 2.5 sacks like by week 5, and everybody was like, "Holy crap! What did Dexter Lawrence is a monster?" But he slowed down. He didn't get any other sacks other than that. But yeah, Dexter Lawrence. Hopefully, he gets more snaps next year. But I don't know if he's consistently going to get more snaps just because of Patrick Graham's defense is so fluid. You know, you throw in that 4-3-3-4 hybrid defense, which he fits the 4-3 and 3-4 very well. In that 3 tech position, and you know if Dalvin Tomlinson is not there, then the 0 tech. But yeah, when it comes to Patrick Graham's defense, his defense is very fluid. So hopefully we were able to see Dexter Lawrence out there, but you may not. Who knows? But
I
Loud, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say I saw Wolves a couple times at call-in show earlier. I had a stream earlier today, and he was like, "Please make this a call-in show." I'm like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, we would have to. I can't do a Collins show when I have a guest on here because the Skype doesn't work like that for whatever reason. But
Yeah, Skype
Loud
is low-key
Superset,
whack.
huh?
I said Skype can be low-key whack.
Oh yeah, Loud Superset says I had this thought and it's going to sound crazy. I think the Giants messed up on drafting Saquon. I'm not saying he's bad, but imagine if we had Nelson and Chubb instead of Barkley and Hernandez. And I see your point there. I definitely do see your point, Loud Superset. But you could never really be that sure. And on top of that, as good as Quentin Nelson is, do you really want to go with the second overall pick to draft a guard? I mean, that is something that's totally out of left field. I get Quentin Nelson is probably the best offensive lineman in the NFL right now. I get that. And that probably doesn't help my argument out very much. But I just not not really much of a fan of drafting a guard second overall. I would much draft a guy like Saquon Barkley. But I do get your point. If the Giants were like somewhere at like 5 or 6 or somewhere in the top 10 around that area, I would definitely say the better move was probably to get Quentin Nelson. But Quentin Nelson was not leaving the top 10, dude. Well, where did he go? 4? He went 4,
he went
right?
4th or 5th.
Yeah, he went 4 to the Colts. He was not dropping past 5, man. There was no way. Quentin Nelson was that good. Let's see.
And I completely see where Loud Superset is coming from because Nick Chubb, until I looked into it, because everybody was hyping up Nick Chubb like basically the entire this offseason. I was wondering why. Until I did my top 5 running backs video and Chubb made the list as number 4, I didn't realize how much of just a pure rusher he is.
He's good,
and
man.
Course,
he's a power. He has some powerful runs, man.
He low-key looks like Zeke Elliott a little bit, like a mini Zeke Elliott. But Nick Chubb is one of the best just straight runners in the NFL, and I can see where people are coming from, right? And you know what? I wouldn't be opposed if we were to go back in time and the Giants take Nelson and then they take Chubb in the second round or something. I wouldn't be opposed to that, but I definitely think that we're set up better now with Barkley just because Barkley has a way better skill set and versatility when it comes to the passing game.
And just think about this. I don't think anybody's considering Nick Chubb franchise changing, right? I think Saquon Barkley is a franchise changer. I think you could rely on Saquon to take your team somewhere. I don't think Nick Chubb is really that. I think Nick Chubb is great. Don't get me wrong. He's definitely a top 5 running back in the NFL. But I think Saquon Barkley is just on another level, man. I mean, every time I look at Saquon, I'm saying, well, who's better than Saquon at this point? CMC gives the best run for
CMC,
run for his money.
I don't know if you're gonna agree with this. I actually had Christian McCaffrey
as number 1, and I know somebody told me that because I was doing a stream and somebody's like, hey, you know what the Hub did? I'm like, just because he's a Giants fan doesn't mean he needs to put him at Saquon Barkley at number 1, and I completely understand what you're saying because I said this. If somebody wants to have CMC at number 1, that's a very, very
that's
good
probably the only
argument.
Running back I'd ever put
Exactly.
over Saquon.
That's a very good candidate to put there. That's just based on opinion as well. And on top of that, CMC put up the numbers last year. So you can't really say, oh my God, that's out of left field. How can you say Saquon is not better?
He had 1,400 rushing and I think 1,100 receiving.
Yeah, I mean, Christian McCaffrey was a monster last year. Put up MVP type numbers. So if somebody says that CMC is better, then you got just respect that opinion because, I mean, maybe he is. Who knows? Maybe as Giants fans, we can't see through our blue veil that we have in front of us.
Blue glasses, man.
Yeah.
The blue lens.
So,
and what's up to King Justin and Alex Sports? And I think, what was it? Borden Arrow. He says Loki would have loved Metcalf instead of Baker. Here's the thing, though, right? We already have a Metcalf on the team in Darius Layton because people don't realize this. Darius Layton was a top 5 rookie wide receiver last year. I think he was maybe top 3.
Dude,
the only people ahead of him were DK Metcalf and AJ Brown, I think, which is funny because they both played on the same team beforehand. But it's like, okay, you take DK Metcalf, you basically have that dude already on the team in terms of production, and that's just what I'm trying to say.
He led the NFL in rookie. He led all rookies in receiving touchdowns last year with 8, I believe. So, I mean, Darius Slayton is...
So, Slayton is definitely underrated. People don't realize that he was a top 3 rookie wide receiver last year.
Yeah, he was great. At 740 yards, and remember, guys, he was hurt in the beginning of the year. He didn't have a full season to play with. I don't think everybody understands that. Darius Slayton was hurt in the beginning of the season.
I guarantee you if he was healthy for the whole season, I guarantee you he would have had better stats than Metcalf.
And if he got more snaps, because you look at his first game was against the Buccaneers in week 3, and he had some good catches, but he didn't get a lot of snaps. He saw most of his snaps towards the end of that game. He didn't play the majority of that game, and so I think the Giants were kind of seeing what they had in Darius Layton, because remember, you look at his film, he dropped everything. I don't think they really trusted him yet, but then he turned the corner.
I cannot give a shout-out to Tyke Tolbert enough, man. This dude is, hands down, he literally took a wide receiver that was a 5th-round pick. Darius Layton deserves to be drafted there. I don't care what anybody tells me.
Everybody says that he was a gem. Everybody's saying that he was a gem. Now he's a gem. Back then, he was a fine value there,
Back then, he was a scrub.
Yeah, he was a freaking scrub. I looked at his film, and I'm like, this is
dude
trash.
Had butter sticks for hands, yo. He had butter sticks for hands. He couldn't hold on to anything. And people do bring up, they had Jarrett Stidham as his quarterback. I The man had years at Auburn to try and fix his hands and
Listen, when you
adjust to
only
Jarrett
catch
Stidham.
50% of your targets, that's a problem. Okay, I don't care who
Exactly.
your quarterback is, that is a problem. And on top of that, Darius Layton had a very limited route tree. Maybe that's because of Auburn, but I remember he couldn't run any other routes, dude, and not
Hmm.
any, and he couldn't run
All
the
he
routes well either.
The
He would
only thing
only
he
go
could have done was the
straight.
streak, bro. When he
Yeah, he would
came out
only
to the
go
streak,
straight and hit a curl every once in a while, and maybe hit a quick slant. But
was he even the number one at Auburn? I don't even think he was the
no,
number one receiver at
no,
Auburn.
no, no, he wasn't. I don't know who was, but he was not. He was just he was a gadget guy at Auburn. He was
Hmm.
he was the guy to just go straight and catch the ball like a DK Metcalf was.
So shout
Um,
out to Ty Tolbert, man. This man,
mhm.
such good work, yo.
He probably needs looks at offensive coordinator just for the job that he did
All right,
for
chill, chill, chill. We need to
for.
keep him.
Oh yeah, yeah, children. We definitely need to keep
Don't.
him, right?
We didn't say that, y'all. Do not say that on Twitter. It's gonna get trending.
Sean Alexander says Terry McLaurin. Like, this is a guy that came out of nowhere. Terry McLaurin, I knew he was gonna be good. Paris Campbell got drafted ahead of him, I believe. I believe with a second round pick. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Hmm.
Paris
Yeah,
Campbell
Paris
went
Campbell
like
was
this.
taken before Scary Terry, and I
Yeah.
think Sean is asking because I saw when the comment was posted in chat. It was when I said the only two receivers that were ranked ahead of Slayton, by production stat
Hmm.
wise, and no, don't quote me, just off the top of my head, I thought were Brown and Metcalf. And we could get into this after you finish your thought. I still think Slayton is better than McLaurin.
Yeah, we can get into that now because it's NFC East related as well. Like, Terry McLaurin, it's very hard for me, right? Because Terry McLaurin was great in the beginning of the year. At the beginning of the year, like, he came out of nowhere. He was like, "Oh my God, he's the best part of that team." But I
And
think
then he
he
kind of
slowed
cooled
down as
down.
well. Yeah, I think he slowed down as well. But Darius Layton just went up. Terry McLaurin started up and went a little bit down. But
Listen, I'll say this,
mhm.
and I probably maybe this is my hate for Haskins showing a little bit. The when he started going down was when Haskins came in as the full starter. So
Yeah,
that definitely
that
affects
is
it. I'm gonna
that
say
is
that.
very very true, and it's very hard for me too because
And that
how many
makes no
yards
sense because Haskins was
did
his
Terry
quarterback at
McLaurin
Ohio
have?
State. It makes no sense.
Hmm.
Haskins was his quarterback at Ohio State, yet
Yeah,
it
right. They
just
should
don't
have
work.
better chemistry.
Exactly.
Let me see Terry McLaurin's stats. Terry McLaurin. He almost was 1,000 yard receiver. Had 15.8 yards per reception. Dude, that's not bad.
That's
That's
not
not
bad.
bad. That's a
Not bad
deep.
at
That's a
all.
deep threat right there. I like
Somebody
that.
says, Edward says, I'm sorry, Scary Terry is better. I can see the argument. It's kind of like the CMC and Saquon thing. I can see the argument for it. I just think that it's my personal opinion that Slayton is better.
I think next year will really give us the correct argument because both of these guys we have a very limited sample size of what they can do. Darius Layton was hurt for the beginning of the year. Terry McLaurin got inconsistent towards the end of the year. But I mean, as far as right now, Terry McLaurin did do better. I mean, everybody just has to acknowledge that. I mean, nobody has to say that one of them is better. I probably still prefer Darius Slayton, maybe because I've been watching him a lot longer, watching his film, and I just fell in love with him. And the fact that I don't think Darius Slayton has reached his prime yet. I think Darius Slayton has already proved doubters wrong. About his film at Auburn, and I think he could only go up from there. Terry McLaurin, I'm not going to say he reached his prime, but Terry McLaurin is pretty much doing what Terry McLaurin was doing in college, just a slightly higher level. So I think Darius Slayton has more to his game, and I think he's going to show that next year. We'll definitely have a better sample size next year with both of those guys. But
Shout out
I'm
to
very
Loud
excited to
Super
see
Set.
that.
He says we are the best YouTubers. Thank you, man.
I appreciate that, guys. I appreciate that everybody that's in the chat too.
And I
Um,
know King Justin has a question, but I want to talk about Edward's question from like the beginning of the stream when he was talking
mhm,
about because I don't want it to get lost. He was
mhm.
talking about Jadeveon Clowney to the Cowboys.
Oh yeah.
So the thing is, I saw an article today, and it said that some reporter from ESPN, I'm forgetting her name, but some reporter had a call with Jadeveon Clowney, and
Hmm.
the only thing you need to know from it is that Clowney said like three words, "I'm still open," and he was saying that as like to kind of say like he's not worrying about anything. I'm just waiting for a deal to get done. I want one to get done before the season begins.
Hmm.
Even though he said I'm still open, I heard I'm desperate. Somebody sign me. I didn't expect it to take this long. What do you think about that?
One thing I don't understand why it took so long. Say what you want about, like, I had my worries about Jadeveon Clowney back in free agency. I said this to everybody. I don't know how I feel about signing a guy with injury problems and consistency issues for $22 million a year. That's just the perfect storm when it comes to not wanting to sign an edge rusher is consistency issues and injuries. That's just something you got to stay away from when it comes to edge rushers because it happens so frequently. Both of those situations. So I didn't want to sign him for that kind of money, but the fact that he lowered down to less than $10 million, why the hell has anybody picked him up?
At right now, less than 10.
It's like at 5 now. I mean, he's going to be signed for
no
nothing.
Way it's at 5. I'm sorry, there's no way it's at 5. I would take 10, but there's no way I can believe he's asking for 5, bro.
I think he's that desperate, dude. Because if he's at 10 and still nobody wants him, you would have to go down to 8. And 8 isn't far away from 5. And they'll probably want to deal with him and say, hey, let's negotiate.
It would be a Cam Newton type deal where it's technically a $1 million deal and the rest, the other 7 is like incentives.
Right, but I get Cam Newton's situation because he hasn't played football in over a year. So Cam Newton's problem is, not only is he a play style that not a lot of offensive coordinators really game plan for. They don't have a scheme like a for a quarterback like Cam Newton. Cam Newton throws himself out there, doesn't really stay in the pocket too much, and kind of takes the matters in his own hands. Teams don't really have a scheme for Cam Newton to really play at his best, which is something we all have to note. But I get Cam Newton because he had to throw, his throwing shoulder is all messed up and his ankle's all messed up. I get the situation there. I do not get Jadeveon Clowney. He's perfectly healthy. He has some consistency issues right now. He does have injury issues and concerns, but he's not hurt right now.
Bro, I'm telling you.
A team could really benefit. Even the Seattle Seahawks, who had him last year, who decided not to re-sign him.
No, the Seahawks made him a good offer. I think they made him like a $13 or $14 million deal, and he turned it down.
He turned it down?
But this was months ago. This was a couple months ago.
I'm sure he's begging for that deal back.
Exactly. Like I said, when he said, I'm still open, I heard, I'm desperate, sign me. And what it's telling me is that like one of 2 or one of 3 things is true right now, okay? Mm-hmm. 1, not as many people were interested in Clowney as that he made it look. 2, there was as many people interested, but he didn't like the deals, kind of like the Seahawks one. Or 3, there was as many people interested, but he just didn't want to go to that team. Remember when he said he doesn't want to go to a losing team? He's taking all of that back now.
Yeah. He denied he was supposed to get traded, I believe, to the Dolphins. He said, hell no. Right? Exactly, yeah. He said, hell no, I ain't going to no damn Miami Dolphins.
And then you talk about, okay, I can't blame him for turning down the Browns. But he probably wants to go there now when they offered him something.
Yeah, and he would get, I don't know how the playing time I get Olivier Vernon kind of sucks now, but then I would guess
if they took him, they would just straight up cut Vernon.
Yeah, they should have cut Vernon, right?
Exactly.
And then oh my God, with Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney, oh Lord.
I will say, on paper it sounds good, but remember, we had J.J. Watt and Clowney, and it was alright.
Right, but J.J. could not stay healthy. For the life of him, he couldn't stay healthy.
That's true. Sean says, if we sign Clowney to a 1-year deal, it would be a great move. Here's the thing. If we sign Clowney, and I still don't know if I want it, but you did say, man, if it's $5 million, it's really hard to turn that down. Mm-hmm. If we sign Clowney, this is going to sound crazy. Just cut Kyler Fackrell and let Marcus Golden come back onto the team. Because I have more faith in Golden than I do in Fackrell already. Yeah. And I think it's going to be a better compliment to Jadeveon Clowney. But if somehow, some way the Giants sign Clowney,
if Jadeveon was there, yeah.
Exactly. Just cut Fackrell and let Marcus Golden come back. That's what I think.
I would be completely on board with that. Now, I don't know if the Giants would do that right off the bat and without Kyler Fackrell even playing, but I've seen it happen in the NFL. Just this year, I've seen some cornerbacks be cut right after they were signed. Like Eli Apple got signed to the Raiders, and he got cut, and a couple of other players as well. So I could definitely see that.
Eli Apple is out of a job right now?
Yeah, I believe so. Let me see. Because I think a team actually picked him up, but he was signed to the Raiders, and then he was cut.
Oh my God, that's crazy, bro. Eli Apple's actually out of a job.
Oh, he is actually a Panther now.
Really?
He's a Panther now. Yeah, so he replaces Bradbury.
Their number 1 corner, and they got like our number 3 corner.
Yeah, I'll take that switch all day long.
Exactly.
Clowney would never do a 1-year deal. I mean,
he would.
At this point, he would just because of the desperate measures right now, man, because he just wants to play for a team. And here's the thing, it sucks right now, and I don't think he deserves it, but he has to play on a prove-it deal. And I don't know why, but he does have consistency issues.
I mean,
but he
he
has
really,
to play on a prove-it deal now. He
and
has
it's
to play
crazy.
for a base salary type thing, not really base, but maybe 5 years, 5 mil, 6 mil contract, and then work his butt off to then try to get a team to overpay for him.
Here's the thing, Edward. He says it was devalue his next move. Here's the thing. Kid Blue brought up a great point
That's
as
the
of why
Pops, too.
why in today's world, he has to play on a 1 year deal because of desperation, because nobody wants to sign him. But just go back a couple of months. The plan for Clowney was always sign a 1 year deal before the cap situation. When the cap situation is technically not messed up yet, but I guarantee you it's going to be messed up because of what's going to happen this season.
Right.
Before all of that happened, the plan was for Clowney to sign a 1 year deal and go into next year with a 10% increase in cap to get a massive deal next year. That was always the plan. So he was always looking for that 1 year deal.
Right. And we'll see what happens, man. I don't know who's gonna end up with Clowney, but they're gonna get him dirt cheap, similar to what we seen from Cam Newton. And it's not fair for Jadeveon Clowney, but
I mean, yeah, you're right. He had his prove it year last year, in my opinion. He just kind of failed at it when it came to the sack numbers, but he did produce otherwise.
yeah. And I'll tell you right now, the Seahawks need Jadeveon Clowney. You know, I think they have Ezekiel Ansah still there, but Ansah's old.
Ziggy Ansah's old, bro.
Yeah, Ziggy Ansah is a walking, I don't know, walking dead man. But Ziggy Ansah, that's the guy I was thinking about. L.A. Collier.
Oh my
L.J.
God, bro. L.J. Collier, bro. This dude.
The TCU legend, the most unqualified first-round pick I've ever seen.
Nah, bro. The most unqualified first-round pick I've ever seen is Rashad Penny, also from the Seahawks.
Rashad Penny, yes.
Rashad Penny was like a fourth-round pick. L.J. Collier was like a second, third, but Rashad Penny, he lost his job to what's his name, Chris Carson, who was like what, a seventh-round pick?
No. You know what's crazy? Chris Carson was already the starting. He already was having 1,000-yard seasons prior to Rashad Penny being drafted, and I was like, how the hell are you going to use this guy? Chris Carson's the starter.
Oh my God.
And guess what? Rashad Penny never became a starter. I mean, Chris Carson just kept doing his thing, and so you wasted a first-round pick for what? For what? To say you have a first-round running back?
Mm-hmm.
And then they drafted CJ Procise a couple years ago too.
Jesus Christ,
they love
man.
running backs over there.
Seahawks, I don't know what they doing. I know Seahawks fans are upset with the L.J. Collier pick for sure. I've seen a couple tweets on Twitter as recent as like last week. They're talking about how they need somebody.
Oh yeah, they need a pass rusher, and it's crazy how they need a pass rusher when last year they just had Jadeveon Clowney and Ziggy Ansah, and now they're there with L.J. Collier. They should have kept on to Frank Clark. That's all I'm saying.
Facts, bro.
Yeah,
Facts.
they should have kept on with him, man. But let's see. At this point, we robbed Cleveland in that Odell trade. Oh my God, we killed Cleveland.
Yeah.
No. Not only the Odell trade.
Bro, we
The
dropped
Vernon
a
trade.
bomb on Cleveland.
The Vernon trade as well. We got Kevin Zeitler, who's easily our best offensive lineman right now, for Vernon, who was on like a 17-18 million dollar contract. You know how many sacks he had for Cleveland last year?
I
3.
still don't know, bro.
3 sacks.
I guarantee you, I still don't know how Vernon got that contract from the Giants, because he was not. There's no way you're telling me coming out of Miami as the second pass rushing option out of Miami that this dude signed the deal he did with the Giants. There was some black magic going on during that deal, bro. That makes no sense.
Remember, in that year, Cameron Wake was hurt, so Olivier Vernon stepped up, and he started playing extremely well. And granted, he only had a very small sample size of his success, but he really did well. I believe he finished with like 8-9 sacks, something like that. Not too crazy.
Bro, that's not
but
really
people,
well. When
yeah,
you say
but
really
people,
well, I'm thinking plus 10.
Yeah, but people really overpaid for him, like the Giants. They overpaid for him, obviously, and I think he was really the best option that they could bring in next to. Because remember, he was supposed to be the second.
He was supposed to be the second
pass rusher with JPP there. And for the most part, listen, Olivier Vernon wasn't terrible. He was just so inconsistent and ridiculous. Always hurt all the time. The dude, he's so big, but he's always hurt. I'm trying
That
to see.
is true. I'll give you that. He was good with the Giants, but he is trash now. I
And
don't know
he
how he got
forced a
so
lot
bad.
of pressure, but the thing is, he never one thing I always knew about Olivier Vernon, especially the year in 2016. And granted, we had a great year in 2016 for the defense, but Olivier Vernon always pissed me off because he would have had 15 sacks. I swear to you, he would have had 15 sacks last year had he not been a small step faster. I'm talking, he would just barely miss out on the quarterback. He was the guy I called so close but so far. He would always get to the quarterback and just reach this far and just completely trip and fall and just miss out on a sack, and then the quarterback just throws downfield on third down for a 20-yard completion. Yeah, look at this. Olivier Vernon last year had 3.5 sacks for Cleveland, man.
And we definitely won the Kevin Zeitler trade more so because even at the moment of the trade, I think we won it because when Zeitler came over to New York, he was like the second best guard in the NFL. And
I
even
was
though
ecstatic about that trade, man. Oh
exactly,
my
even though he
god.
got older and you could argue he regressed. I mean, think about it. He played in 2018 when he was the second best guard in the league. The Cleveland offensive line group in general was ranked fourth overall in the league. So
Yeah.
he came over to a Giants offensive line. I think that was ranked like 23rd or something. So of course the performance is going to dip a little bit, but he's still a top five guard in the league. Kevin Zeitler is by far
Yeah, he's
our
great.
best player on the offensive line.
So check this out. The Giants signed Olivier Vernon in 2016 off of a year in which he had 61 tackles combined, which is okay. That's a defensive end. That's pretty good. 18 tackles for
Okay.
loss is pretty good. 36 QB hits is very good.
That's very
but,
good, yeah.
But just 7.5 sacks. What does that tell you about the QB hits and the sack numbers? How widely their margin? He was Mr. So close, but so far away. He was a guy
Exactly.
that looked flashy because he got past the offensive line but couldn't get to the damn quarterback. That's been the theme of Olivier Vernon's career. And you know what's crazy? In 2013, I didn't even know this. In 2013, he had 11.5 sacks. He was like
Really?
he was like Kyler Fackrell back in the day. He had that
Okay.
one good season, and the rest are pedestrian. 6.5, 7.5, 8.5, 6.5. His rookie year was 3.5. He's like Kyler Fackrell was.
And by the way, King Justin says, "What do y'all think about my question?" This is going back to Darius Layton. He says there was one Giants game, I forget which one, but I was ready to call him our best receiver. He was carrying, very underrated. Man, there was like three Giants game, bro. The Lions, the Jets, and the Redskins, probably. Yeah, I would
Which
say
one?
those three
For who?
for Darius Layton.
Darius Layton. Yeah, the Lions, he torched them. The Redskins torched them. Jets torched them. Who else? He torched the Eagles. Oh my God! In that Eli
We got
game.
two Eagles killer, bro. We got Saquon and
Oh
Darius
my
Slayton.
God! In that blackout game, in the Eagles game, where Eli played. Oh my God! Darius Slayton they couldn't stop a nosebleed. They couldn't stop Darius Slayton. He was their worst nightmare.
Exactly.
Let's see. Ngakoue is still on the trade market. Ngakoue, I would honestly pay like 17 mil for Ngakoue just because he doesn't. I may be contradicting myself with the whole Olivier Vernon argument, but Yannick Ngakoue legit does force a lot of pressure and legit stops the run very, very, very well. And the sacks are like this cherry on top. And I believe Yannick Ngakoue put in a better situation with a team that can actually win games. I think he would be over 10 sacks a year.
Here's the thing, bro. You said Jadeveon Clowney was confusing. Ngakoue is even more confusing
Yeah.
because he's younger, and
Yeah.
I think he's at this point in their careers he's better. So
Yeah.
I mean, I have no idea how Ngakoue nobody has made a trade for him yet.
I would love to have Ngakoue. I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to overpay too much, just because he doesn't really fit our scheme. And a lot of people said in Maryland he played 3-4. I get that, but I mean, what college team doesn't freaking play 3-4, right? I mean, only a handful of them play the traditional 4-3. So I mean, if you're an edge rusher in college, sorry, but you're playing 3-4. It is what it is. I watched Giants O-line film, and I love Kevin Zeitler even more. Yeah, he was an absolute mauler. If you watch him against that Buffalo Bills game, he was opening up holes everywhere. Let's see. Kid Blue, remember your reaction last year? I guess he was talking about the Odell trade. Yeah, that reaction
That was one of the funniest reactions I've ever seen from Kid Blue, bro.
on stream. Let me tell you guys. I know everybody was watching that. I saw a bunch of comments. Why does he keep smiling? Why does he keep smiling? I was hiding my anger. I was so
It's like that
angry.
meme.
My face was red.
Bro, you know the rage comic of the dude with a mask that's smiling, but there's like
Yeah,
tears
yeah.
pouring out behind?
Dude, I had to smile. I'm not, no joke. I remember this. As soon as I finished that stream, and I was with my cousin Ray, I finished that stream. I had to massage my cheeks with how much I was smiling. My face was so sore. I was like, oh my God, I want to punch through a wall right now. But hey, I was wrong back then. I was wrong. I'm honestly
all of us were wrong.
Yeah,
I was
all
on
of
the
us were
train
wrong.
too.
I
I
was
was on the
pissed
train
off.
saying, why in the world did this happen?
Dude, I'm telling you right now, I've never been so angry on stream that I had to smile, man. If you guys go back and watch that video, my face was
Bro, just
as
look at his
red.
eyes, bro.
It was as red as the shirt I was wearing right now. I'm wearing right now. My face was so red, but I had to smile. And a lot of people thought I was fake raging because I kept smiling. Like, are you serious? Are you serious? I had to smile, dude, because I wanted to put a hole in my computer.
I was about to say, man's had to protect his trash laptop, bro.
Yeah, I had to protect it, man. The thing's still going strong, man. But Mickey C, I guess you're new to the stream. I haven't seen you before. Thank you for joining the stream. Yannick can't play the run, Kid Blue. I've seen him play in Jacksonville. He's actually played pretty well against the
King
run.
Justin, O-line related question. He says, how much of an impact do you think Thomas will have on our O-line? King Justin, have you never watched our streams? I'm kidding. I know I've seen you in there, but come on, bro.
What up, King Justin? But
come on,
yeah,
man. You should know the answer to that
he's gonna have
Andrew
a tremendous
Thomas's
impact. Let me tell you
two
right
biggest
now.
supporters on the internet, my guy.
Yeah, and I don't want to keep raving about Andrew Thomas. I keep saying the same thing almost every stream, but no matter where the Giants put him, right tackle or left tackle, he's gonna do fine. He's gonna do amazingly well, whether it's right or left tackle. You look at his collegiate career, right tackle. He never played right tackle before, except in that 1 year in college, and he won awards
his rookie year, I think.
Yeah, he won his freshman year, and he won awards for that. Moves over to left tackle, wins even more awards. So I don't have a problem.
Left tackle becomes twice as good because at right tackle, I think he was like whatever the equivalent of second team All Pro was.
Yeah,
for
he was
NCAA.
second team SEC.
Exactly, and then he moved over to left tackle, and he was first team SEC.
Yeah, and he was dominant throughout his whole collegiate career, even at right tackle. I believe he played 4 years. Did he play 4 or 3 years?
I think he played 3 years. I think two at left and 1 at right.
Okay, but he was still dominant. And you look at these other guys like Tristan Wirfs and guys like that. They just came onto the scene this year.
Tell me somebody else out of this draft class that can just push Chase Young away. Push Josh Allen away, which is
push
still
Josh
gonna be the
Allen
equivalent
away.
of push Chase Young away.
Put K'Lavon Chase onto the floor, right? Julian Akwara, the pass rusher out of Notre Dame that went to Detroit, threw him aside like nothing. And he did that to plenty of other pass rushers, but most notably Josh Allen, because that was hilarious. That was absolutely hilarious. Nate Solder's still any good. By the way, guys, that's my Pops, so that's why he said.
Really?
That's why, yeah, he's in there. So, what's going on, Pops? But he says Nate Solder's still any good. Absolutely not. I can't wait till he leaves. I can't wait till he's cut. I can't wait till Nate Solder's cut.
Listen, the only way Nate Solder is still going to be good is if we move him to the right side. But also, I guess, on a little bit more on a, kind of like a personal note, we all know, or actually we all don't know, but we all know Solder had surgery last year. Right. But he also had personal problems with his kid in the hospital and whatnot. I don't want to give him too much of an excuse, but I will say if he's not good on the right side, he's going to get cut anyway. Like, this is his last year on the Giants no matter what. Let's just leave it at that.
Especially if the Giants drafted not 1, but 2 tackles in the draft, tells Nate Solder he better get his act together. I mean, it is what it is there. My bad, it seems as though every time you guys...
we were joking with you, King Justin.
King Justin, man, don't take any offense to it, man. We're just playing around with you, man. You're one of the best viewers we got on the stream. So Yannick only played the run in Madden. He's definitely a good pass rusher. He has to move to right side to have a good year. You're right, Hub. Yeah, he has to move to the right side. I just don't know if it's gonna happen. I just don't because everybody gets the rookie treatment. Like, Evan Ingram wasn't the starting tight end right out the gate. I mean, everybody gets the rookie treatment, right? You have to earn your spot. And Joe Judge said it best. He doesn't care who was the starter last year. This is a whole new coaching staff, whole new coach, a lot of new players, and everybody's going to have a fresh slate to compete. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, Andrew Thomas is probably going to win when it comes to Nate Solder. But we'll see what happens, but I don't know. What's good?
Wolves, bro. We see the message, bro. We see it. We appreciate it, but we see the message, Wolves.
We see it, Wolves. We see it. Well, what's good? The Hub and Kid Blue. What 2021 free agents are on your radar? I actually haven't checked, but that's a very good. Yeah. Let's go to pull up Spot Rack real quick.
2021 NFL free agents. That's a good question. I mean, I haven't checked yet. It's still pretty early to check, but let's see.
I'm not quite sure how much cap the Giants have next year. I think it's a fair amount. I don't think it's too bad.
It's
I think it's
yeah.
fair. It's not like the Eagles, like minus $51 million.
So Dak Prescott, Philip Rivers, I don't know how Dak is gonna go back to the Cowboys because even though I don't think he deserves 40 million, like once again coming from his point of view, I would be pissed that they turned me down so many times. I don't know why he would go back there.
Well, it's
Um,
it's for his best interest because they have a team around him now. You know what I'm saying? So I think he would even care if they spat in his face. He would still stay with the Cowboys. If I would be the
I,
same way. I've
Von Miller is technically a free agent next year, but he's gonna be old.
yeah.
Yannick, of course, is a free agent, but he might get traded. Vernon, Matt Judon, Leonard Williams, Chris Jones, Melvin Ingram. Yo, if Melvin Ingram was younger, I would love to have him on the team.
Yeah.
Shaq Barrett, who I would not mind, even though he would be
Yeah.
like 29, I still wouldn't mind taking
And
Shaq Barrett.
let me tell you guys as well. When it comes to these players, especially even edge rushers, when it comes to these players, I'm not signing anybody over the age of like 32. Maybe just to fill in some stopgap roles or backup roles, but any starters, any guys that will demand bigger contracts that are past their 30s, I'm not signing because we're still rebuilding. The only time I'm signing those guys, like what the Cowboys did, they signed, Don Terry Poe, they signed Gerald McCoy, these older players. I think Darren Terry Poe is not that old, but they signed these older players to bigger contracts just because they're ready to win now. The Giants aren't ready to win now. So when you guys see like a Von Miller in the free agent market, or let's see, Von Miller or AJ Green, or let's see, anybody else who's older. I mean, you just don't sign those players when you're a rebuilding franchise.
Exactly.
Let's see here.
If there is, I'm assuming you got the same list pulled up.
Yeah.
What pass rushers would you be looking at? Like the only ones I would think
Let's
about
take a look at it.
considering, and like it's way too early. I would consider Judon, Barrett, and Bud Dupree. Ooh, Bud Dupree. He's technically a number two option, but he's good.
Yeah, Bud Dupree's all right. Let's
But
see.
those are like the only ones, because everybody else is really this entire free agent list. I'm scrolling down. Everybody else is really just old.
Yeah, I'm gonna put. There's no edge, just straight up edge rusher. You either have to put outside linebacker or defensive end. That sucks because they could be two. You can't just put edge. That sucks on this website. But yeah, Matt Judon is someone I'm considering. He's on 20. He's right on that fringe for a rebuilding team, but I'd still take him. He's still gonna put him some good work. Shaquille Barrett is probably my number one target next year.
Hmm.
Because
Yeah, I'm still low key salty because the Giants could have had Shaq Barrett last year.
right
We signed
for a
Golden, and of
nothing
course I'm
contract.
happy. Yeah, and of course I'm happy with Golden, but Shaq Barrett was somebody we should have targeted, man. I don't know how he slipped through our hands.
One guy, he's not exactly an edge rusher, but he showed up here in outside linebackers. Remember the guy I used to talk about with the Arizona Cardinals that why Isaiah Simmons was drafted? Hassan Reddick. I'd be willing to give the guy a shot because he is a Swiss Army knife. You could put him anywhere, and the Giants are starting to love that. With the Xavier McKinney, Julian Love, Jabril Peppers. A lot of these guys can do a lot of things. Hassan Reddick can be a guy that can be put onto the Giants and be he could be our pass coverage inside linebacker.
That's true. He
Hassan
can be
Reddick
that. Yep.
can play that. So I would be willing to put him in here. But yeah, you're right. I'm looking at these outside linebackers and some edge rushers over here. Tyus Bowser would be a good option. A very young guy that to give it a shot. But no big free agents here.
Yeah. Wolf says that you should look at your IG DMs. Look into Patrick Surtain II from Alabama.
Yeah, I seen Wolves that somebody. I think that was you, Wolves, that sent me that. I know Patrick Surtain. I haven't watched film on him, but I watched Alabama games where he was in it, and he's a good player, very good cornerback. But I don't know if I'm willing to have the Giants draft another freaking cornerback. I think we should just try to see what we have in
Joey
these guys that we
Bosa
have.
is not a free agent. It's just Melvin Ingram. Who said that? Isaac? Joey Bosa. He would have showed up here.
Wait,
I think it's just Melvin Ingram.
no, hold on.
Because I didn't see his name
Let
at
me
all.
go to defensive end because I could have sworn I saw his name there.
Oh, no way. Nah, it's just Ingram.
Yo, he is a free
Where?
agent. Go to
What?
defense. Don't go to outside linebacker. Go to defensive end. You're on spot.
Defensive
Are you on
end?
spot rack?
I'm on spot rack.
Yeah, go to defensive end. You'll see more options there. And Joey Bosa at 26.
Jesus, yeah.
Holy crap! I'm throwing my money at him, man.
Bro, both Bosa and Ingram are free agents next year. But first of all, it makes no sense that the Chargers in general just had like just such a talented team and they do nothing with it, bro. But they had one of the best pass rushing duos with Melvin Ingram and Joey Bosa, and they done nothing with it, my guy.
Right.
Bosa is definitely getting out of LA, I think.
Yeah, but Bosa's going to get some big money somewhere, man. I would be willing to sign Bosa. Now, Bosa doesn't really fit our scheme. He's not 3-4 at all. But, I mean, he's a guy that you just put out there and say, hey, run and go get the quarterback.
Exactly. Imagine if the Giants get Bosa, I'd be happy. I
Oh,
wouldn't want them to overpay him, but I'd be happy.
here's one guy I'd be willing to bring in. He's not a big name, but Romeo Okwara, former New York
Former
Giant. Dude, I love Romeo Okwara, man.
I love him too.
And he
We were
played
talking
better
about
with
him
the
last stream.
Lions. He played better with the
Yeah.
Lions than he did for us.
We were talking about him last stream, bro. The one thing I
Right.
can never forgive Dave Gelman for is letting Romeo Okwara walk.
Yeah, I
He didn't
know.
perform great for the Giants, but he was really good for us and the chances he got
And
to show.
I believe we kept Kerry Wynn over Romeo
We
Okwara
did,
that
yeah.
year too. Oh God.
Made no sense. Okwara was, as a rookie, when he filled in for JPP in that Cowboys game, that game where it was like low scoring, Okwara was wrecking the Cowboys offensive line.
Right. Another name to throw in the mix there is Takaris McKinley, who was so hyped up coming out of UCLA, that former first-round draft pick to the Falcons. Extremely fast defensive end, but really hasn't done too much in the NFL. He's been the second option next to Vic Beasley, but let me look up his stats. I don't think he really did anything in his career in the NFL, but I mean, he like had one of the most like emotional and funny draft moments. That's probably why people usually know him. Let me look at his stats.
And Mikey C, I do agree with you. Or Mickey C, he says, let's hope players on the team develop like X-Men and Carter. Yeah, we both agree with you. There's just there's only so much that they could develop. I mean, I'm not completely giving up hope on Lorenzo Carter. I made a whole video on that. I'm like, if there's any time he's gonna want to prove himself, it's this year. And with X-Men, I'm honestly kind of on the fence about, but we'll see what happens there. We'll just see what happens.
Yeah, Nerding Out Sports also says Kennard as well played great in Detroit. Yeah, both of those two, man. Kennard was one of my favorite guys. I follow him on Instagram too. He's awesome. In his rookie year, I believe he
was a rookie year in 2017, right?
Huh?
Was he a rookie in 2017?
No, Kennard was a rookie all the way back in I want to say 2014.
Oh, okay.
He was drafted with the Odell's draft. And he was a 5th round pick out of USC, where he was he transitioned from defensive end to stand up strong side linebacker, and he played great. He had 4.5 sacks for the Giants in his rookie year, a 5th round pick, and I loved Devon Kennard. I thought he was a perfect fit for the Giants, and I thought he would have been fine playing for us in New York, but he didn't fit our scheme. He wasn't a 3-4 guy at all. So
exactly.
He was mostly a 4-3 stand-up linebacker that could rush the passer.
I think my camera might be dying. Hold up, let me plug it in real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why. Because I'm like, it's getting blurry. It only gets blurry when it's about to die.
Oh, gotcha.
Let me just plug it in.
Wolf says Preston Parker. Don't ever mention that name again because I will get flashbacks. Stop it, Wolves. I can't stand Preston Parker. Oh God, that guy was terrible. The freaking receiving game and the returning game, terrible. Do you guys know any teams that worked out Dez recently? I'd totally be in favor of signing him to a 2-year if he can still burn. Listen, I made a video about this. I don't know why the hell people are all opposed to signing Dez Bryant. I don't know what your opinion is on it, Hope. But I don't know. I don't understand how anybody could say to skip out on him. You would be signing him for pennies just to see what he has, and if he sucks,
Bro.
you cut him. You let him go.
Listen, the only reason I'm against it is because dude has been out of the league for like 2 years now.
I understand.
That's the only reason.
I completely understand that. But remember, Dez Bryant is the guy that the Giants have been looking for over a decade. Decade.
Hit Blue, chill. We got to remember, the dude was cut by the Cowboys because...
No, I'm talking about his play style. I'm talking about his play style.
I know what you're saying.
We haven't had a guy that can go up and get it since Hakeem Nicks.
I hear what you're saying. Throw up the X for Dez. I can't really throw up the X right now because my other hand is holding the charging cord. Throw up the X for Dez and all. I hear what you're saying. He was top 5 wide receiver in his prime. But in addition to him, having the football rust, he might be a headache in the locker room.
One thing I will say, and someone brought up a great point, the Dallas Cowboys are all over the place, dysfunctional as all hell. Like, Jason Garrett That's also one of the reasons why I don't think he will be signed there, but I want him to, but he won't be signed here because of Jason Garrett. He has a terrible relationship with Jason Garrett. They did not get along whatsoever, and Jason Garrett never had control of that locker room over there in Dallas, so Dez Bryant was basically able to roam free and do whatever the hell he wanted. I think that will be different here in New York, similar to the Patriots. When a troubled player comes to the Patriots, he seems to act right, besides Antonio Brown and Josh Gordon. Those are two way separate cases. But Dez Bryant, I think he's definitely been humbled just because he's been out of the league so long. He's desperate. He's not. I don't think he would ever go walk into the locker room like he did in Dallas and say, "I want more receptions. I want more targets." I don't think he would do that like what he did in Dallas. And remember, what if I'll pose the question to you, Hub, and the chat. Let's say we do sign Dez Bryant to a $900,000 contract because that's what he would be getting. $900,000, not even $1 million, and he finishes the year with 400 yards receiving and 5 touchdowns in the red zone. Wouldn't that be worth it? I mean, those 5 touchdowns.
Okay, so if we're signing him, he's gonna be what, the number 4 option?
Yeah, for I'm not. Listen, guys, I said this in the video. I'm not saying the guy's gonna be our number 2 or number 1. I'm not saying that at all. I completely acknowledge he's not there. But a guy as a gadget player, whoa, your camera is doing crazy things right now. I'm in the Twilight Zone.
Did it just disconnect? Hold
on.
Yeah,
okay. I'm like, there's an orb in your room, and it's scaring me.
It's back.
Yeah, we're good. But Dez Bryant would be coming in as our 4th wide receiver option. He will be put in the red zone and go up and go grab the ball. Maybe he would have more touchdowns, maybe 6 or 7, just because of what he's being used for the red zone. I mean, let's say 4. Let's say I'll say the best case scenario, or probably the most realistic case scenario: 500 yards, 6 touchdowns. For a $900,000 contract.
Six touchdowns is a bit much. I'd stick with the 500 yards, 4 touchdowns. Listen,
okay,
it will be worth it, but I don't know if it's realistic, purely because going back, I know you said he's humbled, and I agree with you. He's humbled. I think he will go to whatever team offers him a contract, and I think he'll be content with it. I don't know if he's going to be down for being a number 4 option, though, right?
But if he signed, he would know he's being a number 4 option. So I think that would be an understanding before then.
If what you said happens, of course I'll be happy with it. Number 4 option, getting 500 yards, you know, like 4 to 5 touchdowns, being paid $900,000. I'm happy with it. But I gotta bring back up my dude Demaryius Thomas, man.
Fuck, screw Demaryius Thomas. That thing sucks, man.
He's had experience with Tyke Tolbert, bro. Tyke Tolbert knows
but he sucked.
How to whisper into his ear.
One thing I will tell you,
he's gonna be the number 4 option just like Dez was.
One thing I will tell you, Demaryius Thomas can't stay healthy. He was hurt with the Broncos, Texans, Patriots, and the Jets in the span of 2 years. 4 teams, 2 years hurt for all those teams. He cannot stay healthy. Okay,
that is true.
He could even get targets on the Jets, who had nobody but Robbie Anderson. That dude couldn't get targets. I had him on my fantasy team. Trust me, I know, guys. He sucked. Okay, he's garbage.
He burned you when he was on fantasy.
Yeah,
oh my
God. Burned me, man. He burned me. And
you know somebody I legitimately want though, that's within that age range, but it's just completely unrealistic because he's not gonna leave his current team. T.Y. Hilton. T.Y. Hilton is also 30 years old.
T.Y. Hell yeah, T.Y. is awesome.
Yeah, I can't believe that he's 31.
Wolves, and you know what's funny, Wolves? I guess you're in my head because 2015 versus the Falcons is the game I can't get over when it comes to Preston Parker. We were going to win it. We needed a first down to help that drive and win the game back in 2015. And Preston Parker, wide open, dropped the ball, and he sat there in disbelief. As I sat there in disbelief with my jaw to the ground. Basically, I wanted to get a freaking voodoo doll for the guy, man. I hated him so much, man. I hated the guy.
Oh, my God, bro.
Yo, Preston Parker haunts my dreams, man. Haunts my dreams.
Another Parker that is the exact opposite. Deserves respect. Devontae Parker.
Devontae Parker, yeah. Devontae. Yeah, him and Michael Thomas. That's
exactly. I would take Devontae Parker over Michael Thomas because there is...
What?
Listen... Yeah, I would.
Oh!
Because Michael Thomas is too much of a crybaby, man. He literally complains about everything and anything and everything.
I get that, but he shuts up on the field, man.
That is true, but I'll say this. Devontae Parker would be cheaper, and he's going to give you 1,000 yards. I know so far that it hasn't been that consistent. But I think last year was the first time he was actually healthy. And think about the quarterbacks he's had to suffer through with Miami. I think Devontae Park, I would go for him also because he's the value. He's going to be cheaper and he could still get you 1,000 yards.
Remember one thing: Devontae Parker was a first-round pick. Michael Thomas was a second-round pick.
Yes.
Michael
Yes.
Thomas went after Sterling Shepard. Man, god damn it! I love Sterling Shepard. I love him, man. But damn, if I would have had
We
Michael
could
Thomas,
use a Michael Thomas now. We need an outside threat.
yeah, we need an outside threat so bad.
But he is force fed. You gotta admit, the dude is force fed more than anybody.
Yeah.
Wolves, bro. Look at what Wolves said his last comment.
He said, "You're like respiration, brother. We in sync." Michael Thomas
Nerding
was
on sports
is a
says, I was at work watching that game on my break and went nuts when Parker dropped that
yeah.
pass.
I nerding on sports. Yeah, I guess there are multiple people that actually think about that game just like I do. That 20. I don't know if you remember that game, Hub, but that game versus the Falcons, man. I still think about that. That game in 2015 was a terrible year because we lost games from comebacks. We could have
No,
had a great record.
2015 was the year that was like we had all the offense in the world but no defense.
Exactly. We could not stop a drive. Like I was so happy. Like in 2015, we swept the Redskins as we always do, and then we beat the San Francisco 49ers in which we had our own game-winning drive, and that was phenomenal. That was like the only time and thank God Larry Donnell, who I liked Larry Donnell. Nobody liked him, but I like Larry Donnell. But
He was okay.
yeah,
okay.
I thought he was a great red zone threat. But what should we call it?
Remember
Yeah.
when we had Bennett as our tight end? I think
Ben,
he was
oh
our tight end.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
so long
We had-
ago.
we had Bennett at one point.
Martellus Bennett, dude, that was so long ago, man. Oh yeah. But the other game that haunts my dreams in 2015 is
Saints.
the
It
new.
has to be the Saints.
No. The
Oh,
New
okay.
England Patriots back in 2015, where Landon Collins in his rookie year dropped that interception that would have won us the game, and we were leading in that game. And Tom Brady throws it up for Julian Edelman. It goes way over, and Landon Collins is there. DRC, mind you, if you let DRC catch that ball, it's game over. We win the game, 26-27, I believe. No, it was like 26-24. We win that game 26-24 back in 2015, where the Giants, who was having nothing from themselves, Eli Manning would have beat Tom Brady again.
Well, that would have been the last time.
Yeah.
That was the last time they faced each other.
But Landon Collins, Stonehand Landon Collins. This is why I advocated for him to get cut in his rookie year. But he went up for the ball, jumped for the ball for no reason because he could have just cupped it like this. Jumped for the ball, went like this, bobbled it, thought he came down with it, hit himself on the ground. DRC was right behind him, ready to catch the ball. And Landon Collins literally comes into frame out of nowhere and says, I got the ball, and drops it. And then later on, Tom Brady throws another bomb downfield, and then Steven Gostkowski kicks the ball up. 27-26, the Giants lost. Let me tell you right now, I shed a tear that game. I'm not joking. I am not joking with you guys right now.
Oh my God.
I legit shed a tear in that game because I wanted to beat the Patriots so bad. I wanted to prove something to the Patriots that we still will always have their number. But
We still
freaking
do.
Landon
I don't care what anybody
Collins.
says. That game proved that we still have their number. We just didn't have a good defense. And with a rookie quarterback in the first half, we were neck and neck with them. But once again, we didn't have the defense. I think we still have the Patriots number. And Pop's out here saying age has a way of maturing, especially someone with his talent and desire to play. Talking about Michael Thomas, I do agree with you there. I'm more of a value guy. I would still go Parker. I don't know. Maybe I am my bias towards Michael Thomas's actions off the field are a little too heavy, but you got a point there.
Yeah. Wolf says I can't get over that Saints game. That was a heartbreaker too, and I almost lost my voice in that because I was screaming of excitement and screaming of terror. But that was a back and forth game that could have went anywhere. But the Patriots one really stuck with me because we had that game. Like it was won. There was like no time. There was like less than a minute left on the clock, and Landon Collins dropped the interception. We were winning by 2 points.
Mikey C says, Collins and Obi Girl were more hyped up players than anything. Listen, I'll give you that on Collins. OBJ, when he was with the Giants, was arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL.
Yeah.
You got to put respect on him when he was with the Giants for his play. Can't excuse anything else, but his play, he was arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL.
One thing I will tell you, the final like 8 games of the season in 2016, Landon Collins was legit one of the best safeties in the league. I
He
think
should have won Defensive Player
I
of the
think he
Year.
got snubbed. He should have been Defensive Player of the Year. I'll always say that he's a good safety. He can't cover for anything, but for some reason in 2016
He played out of his mind.
he played well at coverage. He was like a PFF graded him one of the best cover safety in the NFL last year, which I was completely shocked because in 2015 his rookie year he sucked in coverage because he was playing free safety. But
And he went back to that in 2017 and 18.
yeah, I mean oh my god, he always got burnt by Blake Jarwin out of all people. But KB, we are literally brothers. I have the same experience where all of these games. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. I shed a tear in that New England. I remember going to my room. I screamed. I went to my room quietly. I sat there, and I freaking weeped, bro.
Oh man, bro.
Freaking weeped. I was a
don't think
senior in high.
I've
No,
ever-
I was
I don't know if I've ever cried over a loss for a Giants game, but I cried over a win.
You cried over a win?
2016. Yeah, the game against the Cowboys, where we were the only team in the
Oh,
NFL
yeah.
to beat the Cowboys when they started their
And we
players.
swept them.
Exactly.
And we swept them.
That second game, when Odell caught the pass and went for the touchdown, I shed a tear.
We were
I
the
was-
only team that legit beat the Cowboys. They went
Yeah,
13-3 because in week 17
They didn't start anybody.
Yeah, in week 17 they didn't start anybody, and Tony Romo played, and that was his feel-good game, his final goodbye, and then they won that game against the Eagles, and it is what it is. But the Giants were the only team that actually beat the Cowboys that year.
What's up, Jesse? No problem on being late, bro. Just thank you for tuning in, man. Northern Out says, I had Drew Brees and Odell in fantasy that year. That game was the easiest win of my fantasy career.
Oh, damn, dude. Yeah, that was insane. Odell had a hat trick. Drew Brees had 7 touchdowns. That was insane, man. Insane.
And Mikey C or Mickey C, let me know which one it is.
Yeah.
He says, I am a Thomas fan, referring to Michael Thomas, but I agree with you how Parker is better for the team. Guys, don't forget OBJ could not catch in the playoffs. Yo, that's a fact. That was the most open game of his career. Not only was he thrown open by Eli, but he was legitimately so open in that Packers game.
Yeah.
He just dropped everything.
I think a lot of people are saying that it was the vacation. I don't think it's that. I think it was more so the cold weather. I don't think and the lights. I don't think OBJ was ready for all. I think he was
The
nervous.
stupidest decision they made wasn't the vacation. It was them going out without shirts in that cold Green Bay weather to
Yeah.
prove something to people.
They
That
definitely
was
were
the
not
stupidest
feeling
decision.
right. Mark Primetime, one of my Cowboys supporters, he said, "What's up, guys? Hearing the stories from Giants fans crying helps my heart." Yeah, we were just talking about how Hub was crying when we swept you guys in 2016.
Yeah.
So
Can't wait to beat the Cowboys again, man. I will celebrate whenever that day
let me tell you right now, Mark. I want to actually get Mark's opinion on this. I legit think it's set in stone. I think the Giants are going to beat the Cowboys at least one time this year. I know they have a stacked roster. I get it, but the fact that we have Mark Colombo and Jason Garrett over there, and the only way you could beat the Cowboys offense is to match their exact offense. I've said this for about 2 years now. The only way to beat the Cowboys is to be the Cowboys. You have to run the ball constantly, keep the ball away from the other offense, and that's the only way you really beat the Cowboys. That's why the Giants always stick in the game when we start running the ball.
I will agree with you
Mm-hmm.
if they didn't get a coach that's pass heavy in Mike McCarthy. I have
Right.
no idea, and especially now that they have the best wide receiver trio in the league.
Oh God.
I do think they're going to be passing a lot more. I don't think they're going to abandon Ezekiel Elliott. I'm
Be
not
more
ready to say that we're
balanced,
gonna-
more balanced than usual. Yeah.
I'm not ready to say that we're going to beat them. We're definitely have now in the past 4 years a better chance than ever. I don't know if we're going to beat them just yet though, just because and we've gushed about this a couple streams, but I am such a fan of the Cowboys roster in terms of talent.
Yeah.
It's crazy the amount
Why-
of talent they have. But
one-
one team I know we're going to beat is the Eagles.
One thing, yeah, I think we're gonna beat the Eagles too. So I honestly think the Giants may go 4-2 in the division next year. That's just me. But I don't know why everybody's saying the Eagles have the best roster in the NFC East. Where are you guys looking at? Like what are you guys looking at? That roster is
The Cowboys
putrid.
by far has
They,
had
they,
the best
they,
roster.
just look at the Cowboys' offense. It'll tell you everything you need to know. Don't even look at the defense. They just look at their offense. Matter of fact, just look at their wide receiving core,
That's facts, bro. Just
and
look at
then
their
you
wide
tell me if they
receivers.
have the best. If they don't have the best starting 22,
They got 2 starting quarterbacks on their team, bro.
they have 3 wide receivers that are capable of getting 1,000 yards.
They got 3 number 1 wide receivers,
Yep.
2 starting quarterbacks, one of the best running backs in the league, the best offensive line in the league. How in the world is the Eagles roster, which is trash, absolute basura? They lost so many pieces.
Basura.
This so many pieces this offseason, bro. It's crazy. Their offensive line, it's not good anymore. They lost a good amount of depth on the offensive line. We already know their wide receiving core is like one of the worst in the NFL. Like
Yeah.
people just forget about that. I mean, I guess you got Miles Sanders as a running back, so props to you, Eagles fans. But the Eagles roster is bad.
Right. And then Mark Primetime says, if you guys stay with the run, you guys will get us in New York. I firmly
That's
believe
what he
that.
was saying.
I
That's what he was saying.
firmly believe that you had the only way to beat the Cowboys is to be the Cowboys. So, which players from the undrafted class on offense and defense do you think make the team? I'll start with you, Hub. What do you think? Offense and defense, one guy from each.
Who in the world did we sign for defense in the undrafted? I'm gonna keep it real with you. I don't know for any defensive players on the undrafted teams who might make it because
Look
we
at
took
that
a
chart.
good amount of linebackers in the draft, and I
Right.
think in terms of depth, I think we're gonna get our defensive depth from like later rounds of the draft. But offense, man, I want it to be Benjamin Victor and Austin Mack. Javon Leak, I remember when I made my video on the undrafted free agents, people were legit like angry that I didn't mention Javon Leak, but it was because I honestly see him as a special teams type player. But I think I want it to be Mac and Victor. We all know, or at least I know, Caden on my channel. I'm surprised he's not in here right now. He's like the biggest fan of Rice and John. Every time I make anything, he's like Rice and John stat prediction video. So yeah, I would go Victor and Mac.
Okay. So, as far as offense goes, I'm also on with you. I'm more of a Mac fan, but I really don't care which one of them makes it, Austin or Mac. I think they have different play styles. I would love if I love Mac because he's more suited for the NFL because he catches in traffic. He's more tough and physical. Benjamin Victor is more suited for the NFL because he has the height. So if you kind of put that together, they make like the perfect wide receiver. I just wish one of these guys, like Benjamin Victor, he has the height. I just hope he gets more physical, more aggressive, catch the ball in traffic, gain weight, catch the ball in traffic, gain muscle, learn how to beat the press as well. Then I would love Benjamin Victor on the team. But as far as who has the best shot right now, I would have to say Austin Mack just because he's shown that he can catch the ball in traffic and do all the things that are hard to do in the NFL for people to but I like Benjamin Victor. As far as a undrafted defensive guy, we haven't signed much, but one guy that really popped out the screen to me, coming out of, I believe it was the Fighting Illini, from Illinois, Olawale Betiku.
Oh, somebody told me about him today in my stream today too.
Right, Olawale Betiku out of Illinois. He had a
got
game.
a very Giants-esque name, bro. I'll tell you
Right, that is very Giants, man. That's like Matthias Kiwanuka, Osi Umenyiora type name, Prince Mukamara. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But Olawale Betiku. And you guys remember Owamabe Odejizuwa? Owamabe Big O, double O?
Those two names remind me so much of one of my comp sci teachers from last semester. His name was Oyewole Oyekula, and I had until for like the first couple weeks of the semester, I could not pronounce his name at all. I would just be like, Professor. I didn't say Professor.
Professor O.
yeah, he didn't like Professor O. He's like, just call me Professor.
Oh God, but the guy I'm choosing. One guy. What happened?
I was like, Jesse Bryan said, would you please read my last comment? We already addressed it, bro. We were like, it's fine. No need for an apology for turning in late. It only matters that you're here, bro.
Yeah. One guy, okay, so Olawale Betiku had a really good game. I forgot what team it was against, but he had like 3 sacks. He was dominant that game. Another guy, and he's on the defensive line. Everybody needs to watch Nico Lalos. Nico Lalos, he's out of a small school. Let me see where he's from. But this guy, he's a 3-tech edge rusher, 3-tech pass rusher. So he would be a perfect fit to the team. That's exactly what the Giants like. He's out of Dartmouth. And we get a lot of guys from Dartmouth. Like last year it was Reggie White Jr. But Nico Lalos is a guy that perfectly fits
Oh,
what the
Nico
Giants do.
Lalos is one that I did. Yup. I know
Yes,
who you're talking about. Nico Lalos
he
is somebody
fits the
that's
Giants scheme, or what the Giants have been doing for perfectly. We love those guys like B.J. Hill, like Leonard Williams, those bigger guys in the three tech to rush the passer. Nico Lalos is the best, one of the best candidates to possibly make the team, but it's very crowded on that department with B.J. Hill, R.J. McIntosh, Leonard Williams,
And
obviously
by the way,
R.J.
RJ
McIntosh. Yeah.
McIntosh and BJ Hill, both of them are super underrated. RJ
Oh yeah.
McIntosh more so,
Oh
and
yeah.
Hill just because he hasn't had the time to play. But RJ
Yeah.
McIntosh is very underrated on the Giants.
Yeah. Mikey C says, what can you what can you guys look at film on Dominic Ross? You guys, I've been trying to look for film on Dominic Ross for years. For weeks, and I'm not able to find it. I don't know if it's just because he hasn't got a lot of playing time, but I can't find any videos on Dominic Ross. From what I'm hearing, he's a very versatile guy. He's stand up. He can rush the passer. He can do pretty much anything a linebacker really does. So that's a nice thing. But yeah, most hurt I've ever been on for Giants game is Deshaun Jackson touchdown. Oh yeah. I'm too young to remember all that stuff. But
Especially when you're given the special instruction not to kick
yeah,
to him.
not to get freaking Matt Dodge. Freaking Matt Dodge.
Yeah, and Nerding on Sports was like his first time that he cried was the Ravens Super Bowl.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. I'm way too young to remember that. I was 3 years old when that Super Bowl happened. But
Jesse Bryant,
Hearthstone
by the way.
Hearthstone
Oh yeah,
Media.
get to that.
Yeah, Hearthstone Media. Thank you so much for the $2 dono. He says keep bringing the great content, bro. I appreciate that, man. Make sure you guys. He's also a video maker as well. Make sure you guys check out Hearthstone Media. I know you can't click on the channel from the chat anymore, I'm hearing, so that really sucks. But make sure you guys, if you guys have time, make sure you guys check out Hearthstorm Media, good video maker as well.
Heartstorm actually gives really good tips on making videos as well. I think, yeah, I'm subscribed to him. So if that, I don't know if that influences you guys in the chat to go subscribe to him. Heartstorm Media is a good content creator.
Mm-hmm.
And I was gonna say Jesse Bryant. I'm not sure which comment you're talking about. You said not that one, my man. Just retype it, bro.
Yep. But yeah, we are gonna get ready to wrap this up pretty soon, guys. It's 11 o'clock, and this was a very good stream, very productive stream. I honestly thought we were gonna run out of things to talk about, but man, we just kept it going as we always do. Jesse Bryant says,
man.
guys, Olawale Bitiku has a YouTube channel. King Wale, go subscribe. Hasn't let it listen. Maybe
we gotta get him up, bro.
Maybe we could get him on the show.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Maybe we can get him on the show.
Guys, do not let that information leave. Jesse Bryant also told me about him in my stream earlier today. I completely forgot. Don't let this go to any other Giants creators. We gotta contact this man and be like, hey, come on to the channel, bro.
I will definitely have a stream together. One thing that we could definitely do it from StreamYard. Yes, perfect. All right, so I guess hopefully I will push back the Madden stream just for the damn interview with Olawale Bitiku, man. But that would be great. Good show, guys. Have a good night. Appreciate that, Mikey or Mickey. I don't know which one, but yeah, guys. He replied back to me earlier. Yes, I'm gonna hit him up actually right now or after the stream. So, guys, we are getting ready to wrap it up now. We usually get to 11, so we went a little over, but it's all good here. Great stream. Any final thoughts, Hub?
Just that I'm consistently surprised at the fact that we always find a way to get something to talk about. But that's just great, man. It was very fun as usual.
Yeah, awesome, man. Thank you guys for watching. Yeah, another great stream in the books, and we will see you guys on the next stream.
Peace.
See you guys.